Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this beautiful dress. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to cut the bottom part. So basically you're going to measure from your shoulder to wherever you want this length of the dress to be. You can make it long, you can make it short, but I'm making mine short. So whatever length you decide to use, so let's say you're going to minus your half length from the total length. So let's say you decide to do 36, you're going to subtract 36 as the total length of the dress. You're going to subtract your half length from it. Let's say your half length is 16. You're going to subtract 16 from this. So you're going to be left with 20 for the skirt length, right? And then you're going to add your seam allowance to it. So whatever your seam allowance of 1.5, 1 inch of folding the edge and half an inch of joining this part to the bodice. So now for me, the length I have here is about 20.5 because I want mine to be short. So 20.5, that's including my seam allowance too. So like I said, it's the skirt that I'm cutting first. So basically this is a fabric folded into two. This one is also folded into two. Now what I'm going to do, the width I have here is just my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 1. My hip is 48 divided by 4 is 12 plus 1 is 13. 13 is the width I have here. So now I'm going to go up, mark my waist to my hip length is 10, and then I'm going to mark my waist measurement divided by 4. My waist is 34 divided by 4. So guys, after that, my waist divided by 4, I've marked it. I'm going to go ahead and add 2 inches to it. That's that, and 1 inch for darting and 1 inch for seam allowance, and then I'm going to connect it to the waist here. And then coming down here, since it's going to be a pencil skirt, the same length I have here, down here I'm going to subtract 1 from it. And then I'm going to connect it this way. So that's basically it. All I have to do now is just to cut this side all the way to the top. And guys, another thing is that this waist, you're going to mark your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. So for me, that's 4. I'm going to go ahead and mark that here, and then come down 2 inches before my hip length, which is 10. My dart is going to stop at 8. So come down here and mark half an inch on both sides. So this is basically it here, my dart. So I'm going to go ahead now and cut this part out, and my skirt part of it is done, and split open the back for the zipper allowance, because remember you're going to have about 1 inch or 1.5 for the back, so that you can be able to put a zip there. So that's what I'm going to do now. So guys, now all I have to do is just to transfer this dart on all sides of the skirt, right? 2 sides of the front and 2 sides of the back. Remember, I split open the back now so that I have 2 panels at the back. It's just basically a pencil skirt that I'm cutting here. So now moving over to the top, all I have to do now, this is the pattern for the front panel. I'm going to fold it into 2. And then the next thing I have here is my shoulder to my half length is the length I have here plus 1. So my half length is 17 plus 1 is 18, which is what I have here. And then I'm going to go ahead and the width is just my bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1. My bust is 42 divided by 4 is 10.5 plus 1 is 11.5. So now let's go ahead and mark just a basic bodice. So my shoulder measurement divided by 2, mark that, and then come down, mark 1 inch of shoulder slope, mark my armhole divided by 2, and then connect the 2 together. Remember, this is the front bodice that we are marking. Just go ahead and draw out your basic bodice pattern. And then, like I already said before, the width we have here is the bust divided by 4 plus 1. Down here, you're going to just insert your waist divided by 4, which is 8.5 for me, like I said before, plus 2. Connect it here. Plus 2 is because of the darting, right? And then I'm going to come in here and mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. And then my dart for the front. So the dart in front is going to end at 13. That's 1 inch before my shoulder to nipple, which is at 12. 1 inch before that is 13. So connect it this way, and then this is going to be my front part, and 1/2 inch on both sides. I'm going to go ahead and notch it, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. So guys, now that I've done this, the next thing I have to do is just to go ahead and mark my neckline of 3 inches is what I'm going to use. And then I'm going to connect the shoulder slope to this 1 inch down here. You can use your ruler, and then I'm done. Just your basic neckline is what you're doing here. Come down 3 inches here. 3 inches from the top to this point, and then give it your curve here. Remember, this is a high neckline, so you can't bring it down too much. So use basic bodice 3 inches. So that's it. So using this now, we are going to trace the back. And to trace the back, all you have to do is the same pattern is what I'm going to use. So all I have to do now is just to make sure that it's almost as if I'm going to draw a straight line from where my dart is, right? From where my dart is supposed to be to the point of this, to the tip of this neckline here. That's what I'm going to do. So almost like a line going towards this direction from the tip of this point to where my dart is supposed to be, because the back will not have any dart. If you want, you can widen yours a little bit. You can put in your hand going deeper this way, right? Angle it a little bit inwards, but I don't want the space in between to be too much. So that's why I went from my nipple to nipple where my dart is supposed to be. You see that notch I made here to the tip of the shoulder, right? The 3 inches of neckline, and then 4 inches down here. So it went this angle, right? It's not really straight because it's not 3 inches, right? It's like 4 inches here and 3 inches here. So the line is going this direction. So now I can go ahead and fold this out this way, and then trace out something that looks exactly like this, and that will be my back panel. So I'm going to just, the way my fabric is now, I'm going to place this here, and what I'm going to just trace out now is exactly this pattern, and that will be my back panel. 2 of it is what you're going to trace out. Guys, as you can see, I've joined the skirt. It's done. I picked my dart, just made the complete skirt, and then this is the zipper for the back. So the skirt is done at this point. I folded the edge, I ironed it out. So now I'll set this aside and focus on the top part. So now what I'm going to do for the top is basically, you see the front panel that I cut before. Remember, you always have to take away like 1/2 inch by this part because of the front sleeve, right? So I'm going to mark that out now and cut it out by the front armhole. And then this is it for my front. I'm going to pick my dart in front here also, 2 darts here going up. And then for the back panel, it's just a basic front panel, right? But for the back is where the work is. As you can see, I also traced out lining for the back. If you want, you can line the front, but I don't see any need of doing that. So the back is where I'm going to line. You can even do without lining the back and just use bias when you take your belt, because the whole purpose of this lining here, you see my back panel, the whole purpose of this lining is just so that when I put in this belt in between, because you're going to make a belt, go up at least like 2 inches or 1.5 from the end, right? And then place it this way. You take your you take the lining and then you sew it like this. You're going to use this lining, then sew it close here, and then that will be the cover for this belt, you understand? But if you want, you can just use a strip of bias to sew it down. So another thing I also did for the back is that, remember, whenever we are cutting our back bodies, we always come to the center and remove and go up by 1 inch, right? So what I did here is instead of going up by 1 inch, I went up by 0.5 inch and then traced it into the side. This is no longer straight now. If you see, if I place my hand straight this way, you see that it's no longer straight because I took away 1/2 inch here and blended it into the side. This is just so that when I'm done, this part will not be poking out, right? So it will still pull down straight instead of having like a bulk at the back like this, you understand? Which is the same reason why when we go to put in a zip at the back, we always go and remove, like reduce the length of the back, especially by the center, so that it doesn't poke up by the zip, or in this case, it doesn't poke up when you tie it. So now the reason I didn't do 1 inch is because this top is supposed to start somewhere here, but you already reduced the width, so there's no need of going up 1 inch again, right? So that's basically it. So I'm going to take this now, put in my belts, which I have 2 of them here, and then cover it up with lining, 1 for each side, right? So I'm going to have it this way, 1 on both sides like this, and then I'm going to put in this here, 1.5 up or 2 inches up depending on you, but I'll do 1.5, right? And then I'm going to take my lining, place it this way on it, and then also take my lining, place it this way on this one, and just sew it down straight this way. And then I'm going to take the shoulder of the 2 of them and join it shoulder to shoulder, right? So it depends on you, the sleeve, the length you want your sleeve to be. So what I'm going to do here is just, I have a width of 13 inches. Normally it would have been 10, but I added extra 3 to it, right? And then all I'm going to do now is just to mark, come down here, like instead of 4 inches, I'm going to do 5. Normally you would do 4, right? But I'm just going to do 5 inches or so, or 5.5. Mark a line here, and then just like an S shape here, just like that. Come down to this point and cut this part off. So this is going to be my sleeve. All I have to do is just to gather some part of it, especially this top part, and then fixing the rest into the body of the sleeve. I'm going to fold the edge here to make a casing for my elastic, right? So fold this part so that your elastic can pass in. This length I have here is about 16 inches. So I'm going to couple this together and bring it back and show you guys how you're going to join the top and the bottom together. So for the top part, all you have to do, like I was showing you guys, was just to join this here. You see, this is in between the lining, and the belt is in between, like is inside of this here. So you see, once you sew it, it comes out this way. And then you see, I joined the side seam to the front. Like I said, I'm using lining just for the back, not in front. And then you see at the top here, you just join the shoulder together this way. That's how I joined it, just like this. And then I insert my sleeve. So this is what the sleeve looks like. It has some pleats at the top here, like a puffy sleeve, and then I made a casing for the elastic, but I'm yet to pass the elastic. Basically, this is the back panel, right? And once you finish this, you have to measure to be sure that the bottom waist is exactly what it's supposed to be before you join it together. So you see what mine looks like now. It has this belt here, and like I said, come up like 1.5 before you join it, or 2 inches. So now all I have to do is just to take the skirt this way, and then I'm going to join it. This is actually the back, so it's going to come up this way. So I'm just going to take the 2 of them and join it together. But as you can see, this back panel might end somewhere around where my dart is, right? Or a little bit after that. So wherever it ends, I'm going to use bias to finish the rest, right? I'm going to use bias to tuck it in. Like, let's say I join it this way now, like this, because that's how you're going to join it, and sew it all the way around. You're going to take the skirt, notch the center part of your skirt and the center part of your top, and join the 2 of them, that to that, the front dart to the top dart, like the front dart of the skirt to the dart of the front dart of the top, and then you join it all the way from the side to where the back is, right? Join it on the other side too. So wherever I stop, like wherever this top part of this top stops, I'm just going to continue, take a bias. Let's say this is my bias tape. Take a bias this way and sew it up to the end. And once you're done, you're going to fold it this way. So it's going to end like folded this way is what it's going to look like when you're done, like this. So I'm going to do that now and bring it back. So once I've done that, I'm going to insert the zip here and finish it up. So guys, this is it here. I've gone ahead and finished this part here. So look at the back. You see, I've put in my zip, and like I said, I use bias for it. So you see, all you have to do is just to fold it in, turn it over with bias, just bend out half an inch that you used to join the rest of the waist part, and then you're going to go ahead and insert your zip. So this is what mine looks like. Now for the front, we're going to put in, so this is the bias that I used here, just a bias tape, right? So now the next thing you have to do is just for the neckline, you're going to take the neckline and you're going to fold it into 2 this way. Find the center, notch it, right? And then you're going to measure around your neckline. Don't make it too tight, because remember, you still need the seam to go around this way. Just make it a little bit slack so that you have some room to work with. You can always go back in and adjust it. And then you're going to get your fabric. This is 4 inches of width, so it's 2 inches on each side. And what I did was just to sew close the end, right? You see, I sew close the end here, and then turn it inside out back again. So now, and then I went ahead, folded it into 2 this way, and notched the center. So I notched the center to know where it's going to be. And then the length, let me tell you guys the length I have here. So mine is about 19 inches. If it's too much when I wear it, I can always go back in and reduce it, right? But in the meantime, this is what I'm working with now. So I'm going to take it this way, and then find where the notch is on it, and sew it all the way to the end, where this part joins to the shoulder, like where the front goes to the back. So I'm going to take it this way, join the center part where the notch is to the center part of this top, and then sew it to both ends, on this side and also on the other end. Once I finish that, I'm going to now use this other one to cover it this way, like this, and then sew it close all the way to the body of this hair. So I'm going to do that now. So guys, this is it here. Once you finish it, you see, this is what the dress looks like. Like I said, I've not passed elastic through it, but the casing is still open, just in case if I later decide to do that. And this is the back. You see what I said? Once you get to this point here, you just fold in the rest of the cloth, tuck it inside of the band, and complete it. You're going to need like a bra hook to, I used 2 here, 1 at the end, one, you can use like 3, just so you can get more grip. But I just use 1 at the end and 1 at the top. So this is what it looks like at this point. Thank you guys so much for watching, and please guys, like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.